So I believe we usually start with the release update, and we have a release manager or others kind of come in and kind of help. I know, Ricardo, you've been doing this for 9.1.9.x. Do you want to take us through that and the rest of them? Or is Dimitri going to work on 110 at this point?
I think I can talk about both. I don't see Dimitri here. So yeah, I can speak for both versions. Um, so 1.1, we're still waiting on the biggest bug fix we need before considering releasing 1.9.1. It involves making changes on the authentication mechanism since we changed it from OIDC to OAuth to proxy. Having this PR merged, we are considering release one last release candidate, RC2, do some more testing, and then cut the final release from 1.9.1. I think for 1.9.1, this is pretty much that. For 1.10, we
191. So what, we're going to have an RC2, which would be when? Next week?
it depends pretty much on when we have this manifest PR merged. We hope to have this merged for this week,
Okay.
but we'll keep working on at our best to merge this as soon as possible and cut the RC2 release because it's taking too long to reach final for 1.1.
Oh, that's great. And then after we get confirmation on RC2, we go to final a week or so after that, probably.
Yeah, probably we'll get more information during this week, maybe for next release team meeting.
So maybe by October 14th or the week of, I guess it would be the week of the 2 weeks out, somewhere in there, we'd be probably seeing 1.9.2 being, or 1.9.1 being kind of finalized. That's our kind of guess at this point, right?
Yeah, I'd like to work on that deadline because speaking about 1.10, next week we are planning to officially start the release cycle for 1.10.
Okay.
And I don't think we could have two different work streams here, one for 1.9.1 and one for 1.10. We
That's a
need
good
to
point.
finish 1.9.1 as soon as possible so we can focus on 1.10.
Yeah, I think your insights there are very valuable.
Thank you. So this is for 1.9.1. 1.10, like I said, we are almost 1 week to officially start the Kubeflow 1.10 release cycle. The proposed schedule is proposed in the meeting notes here. So we have the release team, our expectations to finalize the formation of the release team for 1.10 next week. And then we officially start the release cycle. We've been working on the roadmap topics, the dependency version matrix, and the component version matrix as well. We are, what I would say, we are working in advance with some initial plan tasks before officially starting 1.10 release cycle because we're still working on finalizing the release team formation, especially with the release manager role. I believe I have my final decision on that. I'll see if the team agrees next week, and then we can finally announce the new release team for 1.10. Key dates I would like to bring here. The feature freeze is still January 13th. We believe that this is the better the better date for feature freeze. Before that, we have week 6 on November 20th. Sorry, 18th. The release team checkpoints, where we expect that most of the 50% of the work is already done. And then we will start working on the initial documentation plans and the test planning as well. This release team has a new role, the testing lead. So probably we will have better efforts on testing the 110 releases. Maybe it could help us not taking too much time on between the DRC testing and distribution testing as well. January 20th, we expect to release RC0. And the last date I'd like to point out, okay, we made some changes between feature freeze and RC0. We lowered the period to a week. So between feature freeze and RC0, we expect to have 1 week to cut the RC0 release. And with that, we could change the release date for Kubeflow 110 for March 21st. So this is the best we could do with the current schedule, even that we have the end of year holidays in the middle of the release cycle. I believe this is a good schedule for us. Still waiting on other working group leads to get an ACK, but overall, I believe this could be a good schedule for 110. I think that's it. I'll open the floor for any questions and comments.
So a couple comments. Probably sometime here, I'm adding this in December 20x, whatever this is, 10 or 9. This is almost like a final check. What we have seen on this type of thing here is when we come back from vacation, everybody's a little getting their feet underneath them. Their boss tells them they got a bunch of new priorities. And so this may be a difficult thing to do because people are going to be loaded up with all the stuff that came in over the holiday. So really my only advice on this, which I'm cool with doing this, it's just that we may want to do a final check to see how well people are before the holiday to see if they're almost done. Because when they come back, they're probably going to be overloaded. That's one piece that we've seen when we do things over the holiday like this. The other piece is I like this idea of trying to get it into March, but quite frankly, we have rarely been able to make our exact dates. So to say that we're, if a lot of times people just look at the month of when it's supposed to come out and it's March. Probably we should call this April 1st, even though, I pushed you to move it into March. The only reason is then we've got 30 days to make an April delivery in case anything would happen. So I appreciate the effort to move it forward, but I suspect that we'll, like, if we start to advertise this on the roadmap or whatever as a March delivery, we've rarely been able to do that. So just things to consider. But other than that, this is great. I'm glad you put this all together and tried to, this is good, right?
Yeah. One topic that came out yesterday during the release team meeting is that although we had the schedule, we know that we can postpone 1-2 weeks after the official schedule. I would like to highlight that we need to work on a way that this should be our commitment for the community, because though my understanding is that it's hard to have all the working groups to have their release cut until feature freeze. We will really want to see more commitment um, on the dates we're proposing here, and not deviate so much on the original schedule. I mean, um, problems can also happen during the release cycle, but I don't believe we should deviate so much on the original schedule. So this is one of the things I've been trying to bring to the releasing meetings, to have more people involved and more people committed to the schedule, because if we're proposing a schedule, we're just saying that we can do it. And yeah, I think that's just my motivation code for yesterday's releasing meeting, to have everyone really deep into that schedule when we get all the working group leads ACK.
Yeah, yeah. When is KubeCon? Does anybody know? Isn't KubeCon Europe like in this
That's a good
Marchy?
call.
It,
It's beginning
go ahead. Go ahead, Ricardo.
No, go ahead, Amber. Maybe you have a better, a more accurate schedule.
It's the week of November 15th. So the 12th, 13th, 14th,
But
15th.
then what about the one in Europe, which usually is in
Oh, North America. Sorry. Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, I think the KubeCon Europe 2025 will be April 1st to April 4th.
Yeah.
Okay, so that maps up pretty well. Not very much breathing room though. Right? If Tuesday, April 1, 2025 is KubeCon. Yeah.
If we can stick to that schedule, that gives us some great PR that we can do with the CNCF and for outreach purposes.
Yeah, it does. All right. Things to think about, Ricardo, as the 110 team gets together, they can figure this out and see if those things make sense. But fantastic job getting this together. But you've really gone up and beyond the Call of Duty, and schedule looks really good. Any comments from anybody on the schedule? All righty. Let's keep going. Website updates. Website updates. Who's this from? So it said Matthew, add information about version age on installing Kubeflow table. What's our take on this one? Delist old website versions from Google. Need CNCF to update DNS entries as listened in this comment. Merge the reformat drop-down list on master. Okay, these look like Matthew type things. Is anybody aware of these? Is anybody here to talk to these? I think these are probably good. Should we look into them?
That first PR 3842, it's escalated to KSC. Don't know if there are any decisions on that. It's still on hold.
Yeah. Where did we get to? Is there a final version of this one? Let's see. Oh, this is with the caution signs and the skulls. Skull. Bad skull. VMware has 1.6. So, okay, let's just take a quick flash poll right now with the people on on this call. I think the major differences here are that we want to have those versions and then highlight, like if the version's behind, have a little caution. And if it's really far behind, have some other emoji or whatever you call this, that could be like, way behind bad. There was a lot of comments about whether we need these kind of accentuations. Let's just take a poll from the people that are here. Do people think that we should have the versions with these type with some form of emoji like this? Is anybody a +1 on this? Is anybody a -1? Definitely don't want to have some type of. I'm kind of not personally. I'm kind of not cool with these skull things, but I get the
Josh,
point.
sorry, since Matt is not here, maybe we should have a conversation, but he will be in the community call.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if we could get a data point before, because this has been hanging out a while.
Okay.
And Matthew, as the will kind of promote it hard. So I wanted to see if people would speak up.
For my personal opinion, I mean, if we want to keep distributions on the website, we should follow the Kubernetes aspect where they don't even listen the version. But it's my personal opinion.
Okay, no
That's
version.
the thing. Because I don't know, we've been talking to other distributions during the release cycles, but I don't believe we are bringing a clear message that they need to change our documentation to say, hey, we tested and we have our distribution running on the latest version of Kubeflow. Maybe we need to clearly state what we want to do with that distributions table anyways, especially with the Kubeflow version column.
Okay, but would you think that the version column should be there, and should it have any, should it just be the list of the version? Should it not
Yeah,
be there
I
with
think
your?
it's up to the distributions to say at which Kubeflow version they are working with, because this is still, how can I say that? Since we don't have a clear conformance testing for distributions, it's hard to say that, for example, Red Hat is not in the latest version of Kubeflow. We've been using components from the latest Kubeflow, but not really using the whole set of components from Kubeflow. So does that mean that we're still under 1.6? I don't think so. So maybe this could bring clearer instructions for distributions, or maybe a clear process for the package distributions table when we have a clear conformance testing for all distributions.
I agree with Ricardo on that. I think the little skulls and the caution signs and all of that are just negative. They just so negative, and those folks that are using the distribution of their choice may not care if it's on the latest, greatest, because whatever they're running is stable and it works for them. Yeah, I agree with Ricardo.
So I'm torn between two places, but I agree with the comment so far that the only contrarian piece I'd put here is that in some ways, I feel like the distributions that do keep up with the testing should be rewarded in some ways. So if you are on, 1.9.1 and you've done all the effort, somehow you should be able to kind of show that off if we don't have a conformance test. But on the other side, since we don't have a conformance test, it's all kind of self reporting. And so, so somebody says they're 1.9.1, but are they really? What testing did they actually complete? So I see both sides of this. I probably am on the same side as everyone else that have spoken so far, that this caution or grayed out or skulls probably is not the way we want to go, and possibly isn't reflective of the actual, where those distributions are. So anyway, I guess we can all put our comments in and go forward. Any other comments on this? I mean, I don't want to dominate. Do people, is there anybody that really feels positive that this is really good? And I mean, I like the effort. I like the creativity. All right, I guess comment on that with your comments there, and perhaps we can help Matthew move that along. I guess the rest of these will have to wait until Matthew's here. These delist old website versions from Google. Clearer criteria for Kubeflow membership.
Yeah, I can speak to that, Josh. So we've had a PR open for a little bit right now to more clearly define what the different types of roles are within the Kubeflow community. What are the criteria for achieving them and all of that. The PR was just merged in yesterday, which is really great timing. So wanted to call out that this has been updated and on the website, so it'd be good for all of our working group leads and chairs and really everyone in the community to review this and make sure that we are actually meeting sort of some of the standards we've been talking about setting here. There's still some work to do to add more details here, but at least having some things sort of documented should act as a good starting point.
I just want to say, I think this is great. Thank you so much, Anish, for your time. Really appreciate it. I think I would love all working groups to read this, as you said, and also update donors files based on the criteria, especially with all these new contributions we saw from students, from newcomers to the community, because we need to have consistent way of promoting people, and we need to have a consistent way of updating owners files. So people see the benefit, the outcome of their effort. So from our side, I think, since Jonah, you're here, we need to try to take a look to update owners for automation training projects, based on contributions. But I really want for other working groups to also follow the same model here.
Could we create an action item of some sort for all the working group chairs and leads to start the review process? Maybe we create some sort of timeline for this, for the review.
Yeah, maybe I think we can do so. I'm just wondering, do I have any other representative from the call from other work groups? Maybe from pipelines or notebooks? Yeah, I don't know, because historically we just did it organically, and we just don't have clear process. But Anish, if you want, you can definitely create direct an issue so we can maybe add some reports there.
Yeah,
about the
perfect. I
updates.
can
Okay.
follow up there. I'll create an issue and link it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so what do people, I like this. I think having defined rules and giving people a career path, the whole thing is super valuable. And so it's good. But we need to finish this up. All right. Is there anything else that we need to add on here that people need to either comment on or?
I'll create a follow-up issue and link to it from the meeting notes document.
Okay. Okay, well, let's try to get that finished up. I know the CNCF is big on process, and this is great, right? To improve the process. Okay, anything else there?
Josh, can we quickly discuss about 3862 and 3863?
Okay, do I need to open them up or what?
Yeah, if you could open, it would be great.
All right.
But let me just TLDR here. Matthew came with that proposal to make all of the versions archived or even removing 1.9 branch from the website repo. I think we discussed that along with Andrew. My personal opinion on that, I believe this is not a good idea because we're saying that latest is just master, and master for website is just a living document. It's just happening with everything we're doing so far. So all the work we're doing with 110 is happening on master, right? That said, 1.9 branch should be still there because we need to keep the website contents for 1.9 because 1.9 is was just released. So all the document changes should be kept for 1.9 release. So it's pretty much my points about both PRs. So one is to make all of the versions except master archived, and the other one is to remove 1.9 branch from the website repo.
Okay, well, let's talk about this one. Do we have anybody that likes this new, like, latest archive? And did you read through this top part? Which I think what Matthew says is that the current presentation is confusing to users. New users expect that they should be able to browse the website on the 1.9 branch for information about 1.9. In reality, they should be able to browse the master branch because that's what we're always updating. So I guess the question is, do people agree with this premise? I personally probably don't, but I just have history in the old way of doing it. But I'm wondering if newer people into the community understand and appreciate what Matthew is trying to get across here.
I think we need more comments from him here. I think Josh, this PR just been on hold right now. We haven't been discussed yet. I think we can't merge it until we finalizes the procedure for the website. Problem with us, we don't follow the Kubernetes way of doing websites. And right now we kind of like try to do what Kubernetes is doing. But I don't know if it's going to work for the Kubeflow because we have a very complicated website. Every component has its own version. We usually can cherry pick PRs if we have some bug fixes on the different release branches, right? So it just won't work for us. We need more discussions. I think right now we're just not on this stage to be able to do this change.
So it sounds like 2 -1s on that one so far. Maybe.
From my perspective, just will confuse users more, right?
Yeah.
Go
ahead, Andrew. Sorry.
I mean, our website was already confusing users a lot, unfortunately. but like this will maybe confuse them even more, right?
Yeah. So my understanding is that if we're calling a version latest, it's the latest stable version, but we're calling master the latest version in this case. I don't believe this is an accurate term for the website. Again, master is a living doc. Everything we're doing that is against the future release. So everything we do for the website repo is now focused on the upcoming 1.10 release. So everything we do there will only be valuable for the upcoming 1.10 release. So it doesn't make sense to keep master as the latest because especially because my understanding is that users will see that as the latest stable version, which is not true at all.
So I agree with that comment. I also kind of feel like archive sounds like something that may be deprecated or not have, just a little cautious of the archive connotation. I'm still a -1 on this one in its current form. But if other people are +1, please feel free to bring it up. I don't want to steamroll anything. I'm interested in all opinions. Maybe there's something I'm missing. Do we need to look at this delist the 1.9, or is this also kind of coordinated with this, Ricardo?
No, it's just part of the website changes. It's just to remove the 1.9 branch from the website. So latest will be master, as I was describing.
Yeah. I'm not super keen with that one, so whatever. I'm probably -1 on both of these two. Again, that's just one person's opinion. But if you have chance to comment on these, the more comments we get, the better. There's probably good reasons to do this, and Matthew's not here, but whatever. Let's give him some feedback before we go to next week, if you could. Thank you, Ricardo. K-Serve logo. Oh my gosh. So K-Serve logo. It looks a little
I think this
stretched.
discussion should be delegated to, case of owners. Eventually, I think just simple update here.
Yeah.
To look it nicer.
Okay. I think the comment there is good, and that's a personal preference. Let me just look at it one more time. I probably am a +1 on, maybe the new one adds some value there.
Yeah, I think let's wait for Dan to approve it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Kubeflow outreach. I think we have a CNCF. Do we have a CNCF meeting today, or is it later?
We do.
Sorry.
We do. Yes, we do.
And anybody want to give like the two sentence update about what's probably going to happen in that meeting?
I can give my thoughts. Amber, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
I think this is just a second meeting with some folks from marketing team from CNCF. I think this meeting will be dedicated to see which kind of help we can get from them in terms of the available resources, how they can help with the marketing stuff overall, and what should be our next step to go forward. I know I have a few volunteers after my last call in last week. To thank you for this. But at the same time, we'll try to speak with CNCF to see how we can make this process clearer for folks to help us, right? Yeah, but I don't think this. So we have two calls, right, Josh? We have like one for venues in 2025, and one for marketing support, right? On the project.
Okay, so any other comments on marketing support?
Yeah, so one of the things that we need to do is I think we need to make it clear that the CNCF isn't going to do it for us. Like, I probably need to share that marketing plan after we go over it with them again today. But we need to do the work and then they'll amplify it. They're not going to do it for us. Now, there's some things they'll help us with and we'll clear that up. But we need to really have our own marketing plan, have people helping with that, and then getting the CNCF to help us amplify. So just wanted to make
Chamber on this front, sorry, like I have few folks who actually volunteer to help outreach team.
perfect.
So I know we don't have the clear process right now. What do you think? What is your recommendation for them to do?
So I think what we need to do is we need to go ahead and start having like marketing meetings, whether that's after this one or a better day. I'll send out a survey to discuss and see what we can find out, and then start meeting and dividing and conquering on the plan, because I think it's a pretty solid plan, and we'll go over it today with them, and then we can share out with the community and start working with people who want to help.
I would
then-
love, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
And then we can stand up once we see the interest and see it picking up. We can go ahead and start, whether we want to do a marketing working group or just a team, whatever we want to do. We can go ahead and set that up, because outreach would kind of fall under that. So the big part of the group would be, I guess we could either set it up as outreach or we could set it up as marketing, either way, but we can work on a working group. That would be the next steps that we need to do on our side, is start having a weekly meeting.
Yeah, because I mean, I would love to, establish the marketing committee within Kubeflow. So, and officially give those people recognition, right?
Yep.
So they can be in the group. I think we discussed this a couple of months ago with Josh and other folks that we want to have, chef marketing officer, like SMO,
Yep.
which probably will control those folks and delegate some tasks to them, right?
Yep.
So I think like maybe after our conversation today, we can have next steps, what we can do there, right, Amber?
Correct.
To hire those people, right?
Yep. Well, I think hire, more like getting them to volunteer.
Not like, yeah. You're right.
Let's
You're
see
right.
who we can get to volunteer and help. So yeah, and keep in mind, outreach is more, it's not only blogs and not only content, but it's like events. It's all of that. It's like, how can we get more, raise awareness, and awareness drives engagement, and engagement drives contribution. So that's the goal, is to drive the contribution and participation. So that, we can't lose sight of that.
So, it's interesting because I've had a lot of people reach out to me recently and ask about different things about how they can help the Kubeflow. And one of the things is, I think we heard from the CNCF that they needed user studies, and they had resources to help write up those user studies. Did I remember that correctly?
They have resources, but we've got to reach out. We've got to start the process. We've got to get the initial kind of information, kind of like the outline and who it is and the contacts and why we're doing it. And then we can hand it off to them to then help. But we've got to do the initial work. But yes, you're right. They do have resources. We just have to do the initial work. And that's part of that. That's part of what's on the plan that I shared with you all. So we'll clean that up a little bit more after today's meeting. And then I guess where do we want to put that in GitHub? Do we want to put that? Do we just want to do a document under community for marketing, or? just let me know what I need, what I need to stand up, and I'll add it. And then we can,
I mean, here's the thing. I think having some process for people to submit a use case
yes,
be helpful, and these things often take like approvals from several sides and whatever. We want to make this as painless as possible on the contributor, the user who's presenting their use case, but we also want them to get a benefit out of it.
yeah. I agree.
So yeah, let's see what comes out of that meeting. But look, we're a month away from what KubeCon about.
Yeah, about 6 weeks.
So if we're going to get something published, I know that the model registry people were very much interested in discussing or providing some blog. And so there's this part too, which is the working groups have contributions and things that are probably not being amplified enough.
No.
And
Go ahead.
I would, if they want to write a blog and get that out, pure tech blog, I think that's good too.
I think it's all good, and I think you're right. We just need to document a process and how people, like, as simple as just filling out a form, putting your stuff, putting a contact information in, and then we reach out and finalize it or whatever. That's an easy thing. We probably need to put something, not to add to the website update, but we probably need to have some type of menu on the website for all that. Andre, I guess if you'd like to help me come up with that in the initial stages, I can, after this call today, we can find another time and then work on that and go from there.
So Amber, I think there are many things. So what do you think we should do for the short term? Establish the committee, or because the things that Josh is talking about is case studies, and
Yeah.
they're kind of like async with the like onboarding new people who can help with reviewing them, right, and do the work of the outreach committee. I'm wondering from your perspective what we should do with, right now as a
So
P1 priority.
yeah, so I think what we need to do, and anybody who wants to help, I'll send out something to discuss. I've already interviewed one of the distros. I need to reach out to the others. We need to come up with that process where people and start, amplifying that, letting the community know. And then we also need to touch base with the working groups to find out what they need amplified. Those are all low-hanging fruit that we can do right now. Like we can amplify, things that are going on in the working groups pretty easily. I can share out the marketing plan after today's call with the CNCF and see who wants to, help with that, what areas they want to help with. And then we just start working through it and creating these processes as needed. So Josh has sent me, I think, 3 names and introduced me to people that I'm setting up meetings with. So we'll just, and I don't scale, so we need to have some sort of thing, where people can fill out a form and it goes to multiple people. And then we can work on, in the meantime, in parallel, work on setting up this committee, and just keep adding to the list and keep going from the list. So after today's call, I think share out the marketing plan, ask for help, and then start working. The easiest thing is start working with the working groups to amplify stuff right now as we add more content.
That sounds great. I would say that if it is at all possible to, if the model registry does want to put out something, I saw a great blog post, though I haven't read it. I think it was from Roadblocks, something like that recently. Is that right, Andre?
Yeah, that's right.
But if we could get 2 or 3 or 4 things kind of going along for KubeCon, that folks have some way that they can see that the blog post is coming out and it's adding value, and maybe there's something every day about Kubeflow or whatever. Be interesting. it'd be valuable.
The goal would be to put out content on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. So that would be the ultimate goal that we need to get to, is new content every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Well, I was thinking even during KubeCon, which is what, November.
It's
That's
the
a
12th, 13th. KubeCon is 13th, 14th, 15th. The co-located events is on the 12th of November. So we can do some live, we can do some live, we can do some live posts from the event, and we can, interview some people there. I'll bring my equipment with me, all of that. So we can do some live updates from KubeCon.
Oh, that would be really cool. Okay. Okay, good.
Also, speaking of outreach, and events, I did fill out the forms for us to have a Kubeflow summit at, North America, and, Europe next year, as well as the two, Linux cons. They'll probably encourage us to do like it is this year, which is, combine Kubernetes AI Day. I don't know if they'll give us a standalone event, but I did ask for it. I also asked for one virtual event dedicated to, updates on the projects. I called it I think Kubeflow virtual, leadership or something symposium, but it's just basically a community symposium. Basically, it's all the stuff that we need to do that we can't do in a combined event. Things like roadmap topics, what's the future of things, like hear from the working groups, those call for actions for each working group, a state of, what is the state of the project, all those things that are really administrative, and just around the community and how we come together as a community. I did request one virtual event, for next year as well. So those are the things that we've requested from, the CNCF for events next year.
Good. All righty. That sounds good. All right. So is there, just because I'm sure people are getting their travel together for KubeCon North America, is there anything in particular that we want to promote about either the booth or talks or anything like that we have, that we can talk about at this point?
Yeah, so the schedule for the co-located event, Kubernetes AI Day, is ready, and, myself, Ricardo, and one other person are co-chairing. Well, there's 4 co-chairs, and then 3 of us will be emceeing. I'll get those names and share that information. So that schedule's ready. We do have a booth. We're on the AM again, this year for this event. So it'll be on the 12th. No, sorry, it'll be on the 13th, 14th, and 15th, and I'll put that schedule out on Kubeflow Discuss. So we'll need some demos. We'll need, some volunteers. And again, this is just in the morning, so it's not an all-day thing. So that way people can help staff the booth and then go and see other talks or staff another booth or have meetings in the afternoon. So we have the morning, and just some feedback from last year. Was told our presence. So Andre and Yuan and others who helped, Chase and others who helped, with staffing the booth. We had one of the better booths, and they used our booth as sort of an example of what you should be doing in a booth. So we'll need a couple more demos. We'll need a couple, more things to showcase, and then, a schedule. So I'll put that out on, Kubeflow Discuss today and ask for volunteers, and we can see who can be there and help with that. We'll also, we can also talk about any features. So Ricardo, I might want to get with you, and maybe see what we need to highlight out of their current release and what we're looking for going forward, and come up with a blog post to really raise awareness. And also, maybe a blog post on a call to action about joining the community and how to participate in the community. So those are 2 blog posts that I'm thinking about, specifically related to and tying into Kubeflow to get people to come to the booth. And if anybody else has any other ideas, please let me know. And I'll work to get that form set up so I don't miss anything, because sometimes I miss stuff on Slack. So I'll get the form set up, so make sure I can get an email when people are trying to get in touch with me. So I think that's all possible. And, you know, we also have Chase's course. Yes, Chase, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to ask quickly, when you're talking about demos, do we have any infrastructure? I know the CNCF last KubeCon was mentioning that we could have infrastructure to support development. Do we have a Kubeflow cluster that we could get, say, the fine-tuning demo up and running, and then we can polish a few folks on that demo? Open Data Science Conference, if you look at all their talks, it's on RAG. So if we could have a quick and dirty RAG demo at the booth that people can walk through, as well as something maybe recorded that just kind of loops on the screen, I think that'll help with different levels of interaction.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's reached out, because I knew, who was it? Was it Oracle that gave all the back-end infrastructure, like 3 million worth of credits or something for the projects to use? I don't think we've taken advantage of that. I can reach out and find out, or Andre or Yuan or Josh, do you guys one of you all want to reach out and find out what we can get as far as that infrastructure goes? Or do you want me to reach out and ask about that?
I mean, we have, yeah, so they can provide Oracle resources, but we need some people to find time to support it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we just, I think it just takes time. So we just don't have this infra set up yet, right?
Yeah.
So it was, if you remember, Amber, Stefano and Hippie Hacker, well, I don't know, I believe that's his handle, I don't know his real name. He was showing us all this infrastructure, and I believe it was like an Equinox database or data center.
Let
And he
me
was saying
find
this
out.
is what we could use. So I don't know if that thread fell.
I think that thread fell because, you know, we got inundated with because it went from that to compliance to something else. Like that conversation was kind of all over the
Right.
place. And so you know what? Let me reach out to George and ask him, and then I'll come back and let you know about that. Is that okay?
Yeah, let me know. And I'm happy to, if we want to spin up a cluster or something, and then I can work with Andre or whomever else has been supporting that LLM fine-tuning demo, and we can just make sure we have that talk track, because that touches a lot of different components and ties into our model development lifecycle post that we had.
Okay. Then I'll send out an email to discuss, and if you can just add your name, like I'll have a Google Doc temporarily until we can get everything in GitHub, a Google Doc where you can add your name to it, and then we can go from there. That way we can keep track of it someplace that's public and everybody can see progress and ask questions or whatever.
Sounds really good. It sounds really good. And then I see, Andre, you have added in these talks here. This is fantastic that we've got 3 Kubeflow talks.
Yeah, maybe I missed something, but I think we got 3 talk accepted on the main stage of Kubeflow. But if I miss some of them, let me know. We can promote them. We have a lot of talks in AI Day, right?
Yeah, so these are the talks, the ones you put for are the main KubeCon, right? Not the
Yes, that's right.
okay.
Not a collocated event yet.
I'll go back and add to the notes, Josh. I'll add the link to the AI Day so people can see that. We've got several talks that are Kubeflow related for Kubernetes AI Day.
That's great. That's great. Okay.
There's one other event, Josh. So anybody on the call or listening after the fact, if you happen to be in the Ohio area on the 15th and 16th of November, Ohio Linux Fest is also looking for a training course on Kubeflow, just like a 4-hour training course. So if somebody is in that area and is interested in giving that class, please let me know so I can let them know, and we can get that started. And that's November 15th and 16th.
Yeah, Amber, send me details. I have a lot of this content already from
Okay.
the Linux course, so it might be easy for me just to whip something together.
Perfect.
And then we can do some I even have some code for some silly kind of lightweight examples, so I can test them on our current release, and then we can have some talk tracks as well.
Perfect. Thank you. I sure will. Josh, that's all I've got.
Okay, and then one other thing that came up last night was, and this is something that's kind of been, you know, working with other time zones, Japan, whatever. Jay Kumar, I believe, Rakuten chief architect, I'm not positive on that, but contacted me, very interested in contributing to Kubeflow. Couldn't make our times like for either the release meeting or this meeting because it's like 2 o'clock in the morning or something. I don't know. But I suggested to him perhaps, you know, there's another way he could contribute, which is to, you know, start a user group or something to that effect. So he's interested in doing that. And if there are folks that are interested in supporting a time zone friendly for, you know, China, Korea, Japan, Australia. I think this would be an interesting way that they may have to run autonomous and eventually, you know, be giving us updates as they go, but, you know, we may not be able to meet always live because of the time zone differences. But if we can get somebody, and Jay was talking about, you know, potentially running this for some period of time, maybe even a year. I think it would be good to see if we could grow some user base there. And then perhaps also work with the KubeCon people in China or wherever. I think there's different events that go on and that, you know, spread the word.
Related to that, there's a KubeCon happening in India for the first time. So one talk is accepted specifically for the offsite using Kubeflow. So I'll try to organize some sessions there as well, specifically for the Kubeflow users.
Yeah, there's a KubeCon India too, right? Is that kind of
December.
related?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm planning. So if you for the community, if you are interested for having an informal session or having any discussion, happy to meet that, and then we can get it forward, specifically in the Asia time zone.
Just want to add here, I'm officially an organizer for the MLOps community for Denver, which means I have access to all the other organizers, and it is a global community. So if anyone is local to an area and wants to find their chapter and talk about Kubeflow or other ML related topics, so we can kind of keep driving adoption, feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to figure out the local community chapter, whether that's, you know, wherever it is, and we can make sure we get you plugged in.
Oh, that's great, Chase. Love to talk more about that.
Awesome.
Okay, we're over time. Hopefully this was a valuable meeting. We have some serious work to do over the next month and a half if we're going to do well on the KubeCon and all the other activities that are going on there. So it looks like a lot of prep work has been done. Please support these folks best you can. Join their meetings, their talks, if you're at KubeCon, and go to the events. I think that's it for today. Any final comments, questions, introductions? Anybody want to say hello? New, now you feel comfortable saying hello?
Hey Josh, if I can just grab the attention
Yeah.
for 1 minute, I just wanna give a shout. Google Summer of Code officially ended yesterday. September 30th was the last final reviews. I just want to give a shout out to all our wonderful mentors and all the mentees who have contributed to Google Summer of Code this year. Hopefully that was very fruitful, and a lot of contributions came out of that. I just want to give a shout out to all the folks who are involved in this one, and congratulate them for a job well done. And I just want to say that, any work you can highlight your mentors did, whether in a blogs or videos and everything, maybe that can also flow into the KubeCon efforts we are talking about. So think about that and see if you can capture those accomplishments in a blogs, set it out there. That's another way to give recognition to those students as well as the mentors. So, and I also want to thank everybody for their participation. So we'll
Ramesh,
look
can I
forward
reach
for
out-
the next year.
Can I reach out to you to get some more information so we can do that blog post like you suggested?
Absolutely, yeah. I can at least get you the names and mentors and mentees and what they worked on.
Perfect. Thank you.
So, want to especially thank Google and all the Google folks for, their financial support of that, and just having that program, I think adds a lot of recognition throughout the industry. The fact that we get chosen and Google selects Kubeflow as one of those projects is a real attribute or bonus for the community. And the fact that Ramesh, you've led the way on this year's activities, and you carried the ball across the goal line multiple times. So thank you for doing this. I think it to your point, I think it helps the mentors, but hopefully we're getting mentees engaged into open source in a way that's will help their career.
Yep.
And
Thank you, Josh.
that is something that I really do appreciate. I think everyone does. So I don't know, clapping, way to go. But we did we end up, just one last question, we did get the $4,000 into the CNCF. Did that actually happen or no?
So last I checked, they said they're supposed to fund it after. So we'll see.
We'll see.
If I can get the once we know that we got the funds, maybe I can do a swag campaign for the mentors for their hard work. I cannot promise just yet because I don't have the money, but if you do get our money on the hands on the money, then we'll at least send you a nice T-shirt or something, with your Kubeflow logo on it.
Yeah, the mentors, definitely their activities here super critical to growing the community. And we know it's extra work, but hopefully you're getting push me, pull you type of benefit out of this. Always having new people coming in makes you look at the project a little differently every time, and they ask like the basic questions, and sometimes you're like, I didn't even think about that basic question needed to be answered. So and sometimes some very advanced ones too. So I appreciate everybody's effort there. All right. Anything else on Google Summer of Code? I'm sure we probably will have a couple more flybys on this, but
yeah, just a few thoughts. Thank you again, Ramesh, for all of your work. This was amazing. We saw a lot of contributions for newcomers. I think I just want to announce that we're going to have a few more presentations in the next couple of weeks. We had just one a couple of weeks ago, but we're going to have like 4 more. I think it will be on Tuesday and also on one of the training working group calls and AutoML calls on Wednesdays. So stay in touch. You will see a lot of really great work that all of the students have done during this summer.
Yeah, thank you, Andre. If you guys can record that, and if you can highlight those things, recordings in a blog, or some way we can post it to a YouTube, that would be great. Because Google does look at how many people we are sustaining and contributing into the keep working with the community even after their training stops. So that would be great. Yeah, thank you for that.
all right, this is great stuff. I gotta go. You guys can continue. Have a good one.